What is going on, guys? Carter here with Edge Mindset. So I shot a short video, a YouTube shorts the other day, and this knife was in the background, and I got a lot of people asking, what in the heck is that? Now, first off, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is called. I bought this knife because it looked very cool and interesting, and it doesn't have a model name listed on the listing. It's the brand is called Sword Shade, I believe, but I have no idea what the model is. So take this video with a grain of salt. This is not going to be for everybody because this is a deep cut from China, right? So I got this from a site called exclusivefolders.com, I believe. I'll link it down below. This is an individual who sells stuff from China that's not as common as some of the other things, right? So just like us here in the States, we create certain items, and some of those are explicitly set up to be exported and sold in other countries, but other things are not, right? And they don't make it to other countries. So this is one of the knives where this doesn't have a distribution network for the States. So this is coming from a company that isn't explicitly trying to sell to our country. And so the individual who runs that website I bought it from picks these up and ships them over here. Now, he is pretty active on social media. I follow him on TikTok. I follow him on Instagram. He's around, and I was very surprised how quick the shipping was on this. I think it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks, which is pretty good for China. However, you know, with customs, you never know. So if you were to buy one of these, I can't guarantee fast shipping. So now that that's all out of the way, let's take a look at what we have here. I'm purposely trying not to get it all smudged up because it's got a lot of shiny surfaces. We're going to talk about the materials and things like that here in a minute, but let's do an overall size. This thing is pretty big, 3 3/4 inch blade. Overall length is 8 3/4, so almost 9 inches. It's a big boy. Now let's do a weight. It's also quite heavy, and we're going to talk a little bit as to why that is. So 6.4 ounces, which for a knife that size and the materials isn't terrible. Now the blade steel is M398, which is absolutely awesome, amazing stuff. Of course, I have no way to verify that it's actually M398. This one has a hand rub satin finish. This is also available with a mirror polished blade. But I was just, it was a little too much for me. You know, I wanted to go a little more subtle, so I went with the hand rub satin, and it looks really, really good. I've got a little tiny swedge up at the top there. Once again, I'm trying not to touch it. I don't want to get it all smudgy yet. We'll get it all nasty here in a minute. This is a Persian style trailing point blade, thin behind the edge. Well, okay, maybe just one thin, not three. 3 thins was a bit too much. But that's because this thing is an absolute laser. It is really freaking sharp right out of the box. You could shave anything you need shaving. Really good edge on it. Nice full flat grind. Like, this is a slicer. It's got reasonably thick blade stock, but not overly thick. Really nice oversized thumb studs that are an absolute pleasure to actuate. You've got a lot of stuff going on the pivot, and people brought this up. So you've got a dual pivot collar system, so you've got a titanium cup around the outside, and then you've got DLC-coated gear pivot collar, and then, of course, the normal pivot right there. But on the show side, you have a stone that is inside that pivot. Now, what kind of stone that is, I'm not completely sure. It's listed as ruby on the listing, but of course, it's not a real ruby. But it could be, there's a number of different less expensive stones that are ruby-esque. It does, in my opinion, look like it's an actual stone and not plastic, just due to how it shimmers and how strong cut the edges are, but I'm also not a stone expert, so if anybody knows more about how to identify like real stones, I could give it the old scratch test, which I thought about doing as well. So, but still, very cool. I don't have anything like this. I mean, I'm not going to be buying a lot of bejeweled knives in the future, and honestly, my first impression of this was that was my least favorite part of this. It was a little much. You know, I like shiny, I like wild, but that was a little too much for me right off the bat. But it's kind of grown on me, and I'm like, you know what? Might as well just lean into it. We've got contoured blasted titanium handles here. You got some jimping on the back of the blade, which is not that effective. It's not cut very deep. It's pretty shallow right there. But contoured and chamfered and all kinds of things. And then you have zirconium inlays with the nice oil slick finish on there that are just fantastically done. Near mirror polished finish right there. Nice, like, here, let me try to do this. I'm trying to get like a good profile here. Very, very well done. No gaps. Like crazy, crazy good machine work on there. Absolutely amazing. You've got DLC coated hardware, and then you've got Zircuti backstrap right here. I've been watching too much Medford videos. Backspacer right here with a huge lanyard hole, and then a Zircuti pocket clip that has really, really good retention. Goes in and out of the pocket. Super, super smooth because there's no weird textures or anything like that. So overall, build quality is fantastic. The action is insane. It is super drop shutty, very flickable, very well done. Inset liner lock right here. This is a titanium inset liner with a lockbar insert, as you can see right there. You can see some micro milling on the handle right there. Really nice. The action on this thing is some of the best I've felt. It is drop shutty, and yet the detent is extremely crispy. Like, it is amazing how some of these knives can be tuned. Another thing that I found kind of, I don't know about shocking, but the ergos on this thing are really, really good. It just melts right into your hand. The shape where they've done the chamfering, super comfortable. And even though it doesn't have any crazy jimping or texturing or anything like that, because you've got this front finger choil and kind of this back scoop here, it feels extremely secure in your hand. It is not going to fall out at all. So all this for like $300. It's really crazy. I do have an affiliate link for this company, but I don't think I have a discount code. I don't know. I'll post the link down below. I don't really care. If you guys want to buy one of these, that's cool. I know it's not the cup of tea for most of my viewers, but some of you may find it interesting, and I don't think there's any videos on this particular knife at all, so I figured it'd be, might as well do a video on it. Now, despite all the praises here, there are a couple things I don't like. One, the weight is a little weighty. It is lightened inside. There's lightning pockets in the titanium, but whenever you have big zirconium inlays like this, it's just going to be on the heavier side. Now, it feels good in hand. It feels nice and balanced, but it is on the heavier, kind of bulkier size. It is also very, very large. It's a big knife. Here it is compared to a Hinderer 3.5-inch XM18. You can see it's a lot longer, and it's also a little bit wider. So it's going to take up that pocket space. The other interesting thing is, despite how finely tuned this is, how perfect the action is, how well it's put together, the pivot is annoying and kind of an odd choice. So it has two screws that screw into a collar that go through that acts as the actual pivot. When I got it, I was getting some side-to-side play after I had flicked it for a while because this screw was coming loose. I then decided, hey, I'm going to take this whole thing apart, see what's going on here. I also wanted to see what's happening with this ruby and what this all looks like. That's where I realized that you have a screw going into both sides into the post, but nothing is captured, right? So that creates a little bit of a problem. So you can Loctite this really securely into this post, but you still might have an issue of this coming loose. So then if you Loctite this, you run the risk of this whole thing just spinning and not being able to get it apart at that point, because there's no way to secure this side, right? Unless there's a screw underneath this ruby and you could remove that ruby. I don't know. So that was kind of an odd choice with how well this is designed and how many things are going on. The fact that they have this free spinning pivot man, it's not like it's a devastating issue, but it's such a simple one. Like, just do the D style, capture this thing. I mean, when you don't have a way to secure both sides with the tool, I don't like it. So that's my big negative on this, which, honestly is pretty impressive that that's the main negative thing I have with this knife. Everything is just really cool and fantastic. Oh, this comes in even more blinged out versions than this. So they have a version where it has crystallized carbon fiber inlay instead of zirconium, and then full Zircuti handles with a mirror polished blade. Like, absolutely bonkers of a knife. for like, I think the price on that one's like $500 or $600. Obviously it's more with the full Zircuti, but it looks really, really cool. If you like blinged out knives and want to spend as little as possible, that's still a large amount of money. But considering like to have something that would normally cost thousands of dollars, if not more, if you want something blingy like that in your collection, might be worth checking out. But anyway, so this is the unnamed knife from Sword Shade. I will comment down below. It might have a name on other platforms. You know, I didn't really deep dive into this knife. It can be kind of difficult to find information on stuff like this, but I thought you might find it interesting. This is the first time I've had a red jewel in a knife. I have had stones on some Chris Reeve knives because they'll do stone inlays on their knives, and I've had a couple of those. I have one in my collection right now with pyrite in it, but this is the first time I've had like a jewel-esque inlaid into the knife. So kind of cool. Comment down below, what do you think of this bad boy? I want to hear from you. Talk to you later. I'm out.